Olin Hacker in the field. Oh, and it's a false start, 5,000 meters. Gunshots everywhere.
I think it was a timing error. I heard a gun over here.
Sometimes we've been told there can be a faulty shell for the starting gun, which is nobody's fault but the shell maker.
I've only ever heard that excuse from crabs.
So 13:19 for Pat Tiernan last year, and taking the meet record from Dathan Ritzenhein, who ran 13:19. Dathan Ritzenhein famously ran 13:19, came back in a second heat and ran 13:44. So
yeah, why not?
The Suguru Osako special, where he did that in the 10K, running 27:56 and then 29:04.
Olin Hacker did win the Festival of Miles in St. Louis on
But look at that.
He did run 3:56.
Beer garden filling up
He did win the NCAA
at the 200-meter line here as we run the Paul Banta Memorial 5,000 meters, followed by the cappers of the evening, the Nike running women's and men's 1,500 meters. 1,500 meters is a special distance here at the Portland Track Festival. Through all sections, the depth is always amazing, and the top races are electric. Fans give the nod to Olin Hacker here, who just claimed a victory in St. Louis earlier in the week, running 3:56 for the mile, and then jumping on a plane coming out here, competing 5,000 meters. How do you think the legs are feeling after that?
Probably pretty good.
Probably pretty good.
Doesn't seem like people are phased by much anymore with the new shoe technology. Come off a race, feel great.
Put on the squishy shoes, recover.
Just check on some squishy shoes, go for a run.
So we got the prize purse sitting at 1,393 for the win right now. And look at that. That beer garden's going to get rowdy for this one. And can you imagine what it's going to be like during those 1,500s?
If I don't see, like in the golf, getting beers thrown onto the track, this hasn't been a successful event.
If Craig Engels wins tonight,
he will go straight over there.
Is he doing
He's
a keg
sprint
stand?
Straight over for a keg stand.
A Craig stand. All right, looks like we're ready to go. Pete Castro gives the okay. And we'll go when Bruce Davis says we can go.
And not a moment before.
I think it might be, we've got timing over there checking out the machinery. Gun is up. Yeah, I think the voltage was getting too high here in the electric forest. They had to check the equipment. Sometimes that happens.
We don't know why. We don't know how, but it does happen.
It's magic. So we've got Pacers out in front. That looks like Brian Barraza in the second position.
Austin Miller up front.
Austin Miller. And Olin Hacker in that third spot, tucking in there. Wants to get under that 13:20 mark. And it's amazing how far American 5,000 meter running has come. It makes us sound old, but in the last 20 years, I remember watching 5,000 meters, the documentary in
Nothing comes easy.
2004, and the U.S. athletes were trying to break 13:30 back then.
13:20.
13:20.
1.5 was the Olympic standard.
But it was a big deal to get under 13:30.
Sure was,
A lot of guys.
I think the Olympic standard is now 12:50, so good luck to everybody.
Yeah, better start looking to the points for that. But you never know. We've got what, 3 Americans in Florence that ran in the 12:50s.
That was insanity.
And some special nights have happened here in Portland in the 5,000 meters for Woody Kincaid and others. Woody running that 12:58 on the Nike campus in the Hunt, Portland 5,000 in 2019. And then on this track, prior to 2019, in 2016, The first time that Woody Kincaid defeated Galen Rupp in the 5,000 meters occurred here at Stumptown Twilight when he wore his Portland Pilots uniform to do that.
He's not a Portland State poet.
Austin Miller at the front here, leading Brian Barraza. Olin Hacker coming up to the start line, 2:08 roughly for 800 meters on the pace. Brody Hasty sitting in there too. Benjamin Eidenschenk behind Olin Hacker.
Brody Hasty was a high school sub-4 guy, right?
I believe if he wasn't, he was close.
Yeah, maybe 4 flat.
And we're going to send you down to the living room to have a chat with Taylor Werner, but we'll be right back.
And we're back in the living room couch with Taylor Werner, who just won the women's 5K. Okay, Taylor, walk us through the race. How do you feel?
So my teammate and I, Natasha, the goal was to kind of stay in the middle, and we got out in the front right away. So we were like, all right, the game plan is completely changing, but I'm so glad I have my teammate in there, and we just kind of worked together, and next thing you know, it's like, I can kick, and I'm going to do it, and now I'm on the couch, so.
I mean, that is the goal, ultimately.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'll take that for sure. I mean, I'm cool with that, so.
Our follow-up question is, obviously, we're in the electric forest, as they like to call it. The crowd energy seemed great, and it probably pushed you a lot at the end. How do you think that changed your mindset?
Oh, it's so nice. I mean, when you're running that hard, you can get so negative so fast, and so when you hear people cheering for you, it's like, okay, yeah, no, I have something else to do, entertain the public, and just keep going, because I really don't want to embarrass myself. So, but no, it's so fun, so fun.
Well, we're so happy to have you here in the couch. Please come back next year. So, congratulations.
Huge congrats, Taylor.
Thank you.
So you can sign.
And we're back here in the men's 5,000 meter race. We've got Austin Miller and Brian Barraza leading the group up front. See Tom Anderson peeking out there, but we're coming towards 1,600 meters here as Miller steps off at about 4:16 high, 4:17. So Hawker sitting behind Barraza now, and Eidenschenk wearing number 7.
My sources are telling me that Ben Eidenschenk is fit. Very, very fit.
Fit.
Oh, my fit. Fit as.
I'm fit. And
If he's taking any notes from Alicia, then he's doing something right.
yeah, that's Alicia Munson,
Yeah, they're partners and
partners in crime.
partners in crime out there in Niwot, Colorado.
Well, he's part of a trio that separated themselves. Olin Hacker, Brian Barraza, the pacer, and Eidenschenk. So staking his position to try and claim the victory here in the Electric Forest tonight. Take home a log round. That'll serve as a nice charcuterie board for himself and Alicia.
I can't see it serving any other purpose.
We got Thomas Fafard in that bright yellow singlet too, a Canadian. I believe he's from Quebec. And he's jumped onto that trio, trying to hang into this pace. But now, Fafard closing the gap, passing Eidenschenk, getting up to Hacker. As we said, Olin Hacker ran 3:56 a few days ago out in St. Louis.
It's a good tactic, running some hard 1500s, whether they go, or miles or 1500s, whether they go well or they don't. It does take a lot of the sting out of that first 4, 5, 6 laps of this race. If you only run miles and then run a 5K, the 5K is a real pain because you just keep seeing these numbers that you're unaccustomed to seeing, 12, 11, 10, and then by the time you get to 4 laps to go, this is my race distance. What am I doing out here? But this group of 4, Brian Barraza, doing the Lord's work out there for him, keeping them right on pace, right in the heart of that green pace light. Olin Hacker seems up to the task. And my tradition of cursing athletes when I say how fit they are lives on. But Ben Eidenschenk holding on closely, you can do a lot of work in the last 5-6 laps of this race. We've been saying that time and again. We've watched people with massive closes make gaps dwindle over the last 400, 500 meters. So I'm not too worried, but this trio of 3 up front looks really good to me.
We'll see if Eidenschink can channel his inner Tyrone Gorsey and get back in it, fight to the finish like he did last night.
Boot and rally, baby.
Yeah, 29 flat after a mid-race up chuck. Barraza out front, Olin Hacker still there, and there's some shuffling of the deck in that second pack as Lawrence Kipkoech now leads it in the bright orange, and Tom Anderson from Seattle wearing the Hoka singlet in there as well. Last year, Tom Anderson, a ringer in the Portland versus Seattle 3K. Maybe why it was tipped in their favor. He's a 1320s 5,000 meter man.
He wasn't willing to throw away his race tonight for the axe.
We've tried to convince Woody to jump into the Portland versus Seattle 3K now and again. Maybe he'll do it one day.
If you ask him he can't say no to something if you ask him 3 times. So if you ask him a 3rd time.
Everybody knows that.
Everyone knows that.
Olin Hacker out front here.
Loving these
Thomas
drone
Mafar.
shots. Ivan on the drone, just absolutely killing it. Just beautiful.
Through 3K in 8:01 here. That was a 64-second lap. They've been running 64 flats mostly. Olin Hacker driving the train now, and Fafard, but Hacker is getting some daylight up there.
Yeah, as we talked about before, it is absolutely insane in this event how quickly you can go from being cool, calm, and collected to sirens going off inside your head saying, "What are you doing? What are you trying to do to your body? This is insane." Olin Hacker still looks like he's covering ground fairly effortlessly. The kid moves really, really well, and seems very much up to the task tonight. He's got the lights right in front of him. He knows what he's got to do.
Yeah, riding the red line out here. He's playing with fire. The NAZ elite athlete, Olin Hacker, straight out of Flagstaff. It's Hacker solo now, and Fafard in second. Eidenschink still in third. And then that pack behind them led by Tom Anderson in the Hoka uniform. So that was a 63.99, so still right on 64 flat pace.
Yeah, they're ever so slightly slow, that 13:20. So 13:20 would be 8 minutes at 3K, 9:04 at 3,400. So Olin slipping a little bit right now, but with a big close over the last 600 meters, I think he draws those lights back in. Right now, this is where you start to second guess a lot of decisions you've made early in the race. With, I think, 1,200 meters to go is one of the hardest places in a 5K. But if you can grind through these next 2 laps without losing too much ground, a big closer last 400 takes care of anything that may have slipped away.
Yeah, Hacker trying to hang on to those lights solo now. For where we are in the race right now, it looks like he might have that first place check in his pocket already, but you never know what can happen. 3 laps remaining.
Yeah, 10:10 at 3,800 meters. He needs to run 62 points for these next 3 laps to come under 13:20, at least average that. So I still have high hopes for Olin Hacker today. His form hasn't really changed. The lights seem to be slowly slipping out of his grasp.
See a little tightening up in his neck slightly. That was a 65 last lap through 3,800 meters.
Yeah, you saw a little grimace there, a little squint to the eyes. That shows you the man is working. He's putting in the hard yards right now.
We're coming up here. 800 meters to go is 800 meters to go. So depending on what that does to your brain, it could be a good thing or a bad thing. We'll see what it does for Hacker here.
I only ran a couple competitive 5Ks in my life, and one of my strategies was if I'm hurting really bad, I needed to take the lead 800 meters to go. Now, I didn't last very long there. I got swooped up by a bunch of other much more accomplished athletes, but just simply making that move to the front shocked my system enough to get me to the finish line.
That was another 65 there for Hacker, 11:15 with 800 meters to go. So Hacker facing the backstretch alone right now, charging down it. And Eidenschink has retaken second place ahead of Fafard, as you can see them in the distance in that big screen. And Brody Hasty has jumped up in front of Tom Anderson in that third pack to get into fourth place. Hacker's rounding the bend, passing the steeple pit. So as he comes up here, he'll have 500 meters to go now.
If you're watching this broadcast and know anybody in the stands, make sure to remind them that steeplechase pit has been turned up to 104 degrees to match the heat of the hot window. So the hot tub, still no takers, but Olin Hacker coming out with 400 meters to go. What can he muster over this last lap? Can he close in 60 and run 13:20?
That was about a 65 there as well, 65.2, so 12:20 at the bell. And now, with less than 400 meters to go, Hacker tries to unfurl that stride and channel the power that his flowing locks are giving him. Straight out of Flagstaff up to Portland, running here in the Electric Forest, taking the victory tonight in the Paul Banta Memorial 5,000 meters. It looks to be his, but he's chasing that green light in front of him and he's gaining on it. We'll see if he can duck under the standard. Look at this. He's rolling right now, going to sprint form.
Come on, Olin Hacker. Give it hell.
He's kicking it into overdrive, and the fans love it. They're driving. They know he's in front of the lights. What's Olin Hacker going to do here? Driving to the tape, 13:19.
A lot of ground can be made up in the final 400.
13:19.28 for Olin Hacker, a 58.68 final circuit. There he is. Oh, what an effort. There you go, big man. Enjoy it. Second place goes to Benjamin Eidenschink, 13:33.24. And you know what? Let's check. But that very well could be a meet record. Oh, just off. 13:19.14 is the meet record for Pat Tiernan. 13:19.28 for Olin Hacker. Shoots him way up the all-time list.